Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to start with the questions,
Okay.
and there's a few of them. Terry Tyson was nice enough to ask quite a few. Um, and the first question is your inspirations. So basically, who are some of your inspirations for the performances you do?
Well, in modern times, I guess it'd be Terry himself. I'm very impressed with his work, and I never tried to copy it, but I was just impressed with it. And his demeanor and all of that made me think of how I was working.
That's good.
Let's see. The great Dunninger was a fan of mine when I was just a kid. Uh, but I used to listen to him on the radio,
Wow.
and I don't, I can't get some think of anyone offhand
Okay.
else to put in there.
Yeah. So how did you learn about scrying?
Well, I came from a family of sensitive people.
Mm,
It was my family on my father's side, and his mother and sister had two sisters. One of them was sensitive, and his mother was very sensitive.
okay.
And when you'd go to visit them, if they had never met you, they would grab you by the hand and ask you to take a walk in the garden with them. And just for that conversation and being in nature and watching and looking at the gardens, they could find out an awful lot about the folks that they were talking with. Uh, they were really great co-readers also.
Mm,
Uh, but when I was a kid, I lived on a farm, cotton farm, and on that farm was a tank. It's called a cattle tank. And what it is, a little pond
mm,
where the cattle come to drink. And I used to wade and crawfish there. In fact, my grandmother taught me how to cook crawfish on a fire when I was just a kid that I caught. And she would send me to the pond and with a little iron skillet. I had it for a long time, a little miniature iron skillet,
mhm.
a little pinch of hog fat, had some cornmeal, and I would catch those crawfish and peel their tails, just get the meat out of there like a shrimp, top them in cornmeal and build a little fire and cook them. And I think I was about 7 or 8 years old then.
Wow.
And I used to sit and watch the reflections in that pond, and I would see things. And then I would go at night and look at, especially on a full moon, and look at the pond and the moon reflecting in that pond would work wonders.
Hmm.
And that's kind of how I got started. I realized that you could see things by doing that. Nobody had told me about that. And I don't think my grandmother or my auntie ever did any scrying. If they did, they never told me or showed it.
Right.
I just kind of picked that up on myself as a kid. I was an adventurous little guy, and I found myself going to that cow pond quite often, and I would see things, and I would ask questions, and just gaze into the pond, and some people would say stare, and sometimes those you'd get a feeling in your mind, you get an answer to the question you had in your mind.
Hmm.
No voice talked to me or anything like that, although I wish it would have. But that's kind of how I got started in that.
Okay.
And then I learned to draw water and put in a plate. And I discovered, well, the light has to be just right in clear water. I mean, I couldn't get the right reflections.
Hmm.
And so I wondered to myself, I said, I wonder what would happen if you darken this water up. Now you're looking at an old boy, the country boy. And but like I say, I was adventuresome and I knew there was something going on there and I was going to find out about it. So I dumped a little ink into a bowl of clear water one time and got one of Grandma's candles and took in there and lit it up, put it up where it would reflect in that water. And man, I was hooked. I really was. I didn't understand what was happening, but I sure was liking it.
Yeah.
And that's how I got started in it. And
Wow.
for a long time, I used uh, what you would say is a dark mirror. I never made a dark mirror. I wasn't aware that you could even make dark mirrors. But I thought to myself, man, if I could get a hold of a dark mirror, like black like this here, and take it with me anywhere and prop it up, put a couple of candles in front of it. So I experimented with that, and I had some model airplane paint, some black, and I painted a little mirror black, and I lit those candles, put it in front of it, and boy, that man, it worked.
Yeah.
And all along, I was using the Roxanne effect, which at that time had never even been thought of. People knew those reflections happened, but they didn't know why.
Mm.
And the Roxanne effect, it hadn't been around even 20 years yet. But people were using that, not realizing it. So I used a mirror for a long time. Then I got a little 4-inch obsidian sphere. And oh boy, I really like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
and
Jerry, I'm gonna have to pause for just. Okay. Sorry about that.
no problem.
Okay. So where were we? I kind of got lost. Um, Let me ask you a real quick question, just to kind of get back and to your history. And your family's intuitive. Your father's side is intuitive. Um, did they have any idea of scrying or remote viewing even? I know.
They never said anything to me about scrying. Uh, They did remote viewing some.
Okay.
Now, that's kind of a hereditary thing. And I have experienced that before, but they never talked about it.
Okay. It's we never talk about this on our group.
Yeah.
It is a subject that is, equally interesting and um, kind of frowned upon.
Well, yes, it is, but it's a scientific fact. And the government, and there's reports coming out on it now since they've declassified so much older stuff
Yeah.
with the UFOs and all that, which I think is a good thing. Uh, the government has remote viewers, and I think some of them played a big part in winning World War II.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think some of them had a big part in keeping us out of an atomic war.
Mm.
But if
That,
my family did that for someone, they never told me.
gotcha.
I'm sure they did it for themselves, but and
Yeah.
they were aware that I could do it to a certain extent, and it may have happened uh, for me, like I said, genetically, and I really never really tried to conquer that, but
Okay.
I have had a couple of experiences with it,
Okay. Okay.
and
But as far as
one,
your scrying goes, you think it was something your family did as well?
well, if they did,
They never said anything.
they never said anything to me about it.
Okay.
They would always tell me that I was born special, but I didn't know what special meant. My mother, she realized some of my abilities, and my whole life she was terrified of me.
Okay.
And before she passed away, she said, "You talk to spirits, don't you?"
Wow.
Now, uh, that was her way of saying that she believed what I was doing. But I never tried to do anything, in her presence. Somehow or another, she found out, or she knew, or she may have just put two and two together because of the family. I
Mm.
don't know. But I must tell you, I have had some really odd experiences throughout my life. And I'm old now and I'm retired and I'm not wealthy, but I'm in good financial condition where two old farts can live comfortably and not have to worry about the bills, which we don't have many. Got enough, but not many.
Right.
uh, and I have no reason to lie uh, or mislead anyone about anything. I'm towards the end of my life, and I
Yeah.
don't want that hanging on me. I'm gonna be upfront with you.
That's what makes this whole question so interesting and so perfect because we want to know so much from you. Um, and I I really like the fact that you mentioned your family in this and having their abilities to do, cold reading, things like that. But Did they ever use it for business or was it just for their personal interest?
Well, I would suspect they did. Uh, my uncle had a very successful insurance business, home and farm, and she sold a lot of farm insurance. And he would have to investigate the folks and the property. He took me with him sometimes that they were going to insure. And I know he used his intuitiveness there. And he told me of a couple of things that my father was alcoholic. It was a result of World War II. It almost ran him insane. And he was really hardcore alcoholic, very heavy drinker, but he never let it interfere with making a living for his family. We never wanted for anything. At the end of World War II, he worked in shipyards in Orange, Texas, wiring up fire control systems. And at the end of the war, Dallas went on the boom, and that's where we wound up, was in Dallas. And that's where I got my education. And
Hmm.
like I say, he was hardcore alcoholic. He was a wonderful electrician. At that
Okay.
time, there was no public automobiles. You could not purchase an automobile. You
Wow.
couldn't buy one. They weren't any. They weren't manufacturing them. People don't realize that they quit manufacturing automobiles in the war, except a very few, and they went to the military. So my dad, thank God Dallas had wonderful public transportation, and they really did, and I think they still do. And he would put his toolbox on his shoulder every morning, and in his left hand, his lunchbox. He would get up at the crack of dawn and leave out to catch the bus to go wherever in Dallas County his job was. He never complained one moment about it. He'd work hard all day, and when he got off, he'd get on that same old bus and come home and repeat the next day.
Wow.
And he never, ever complained about it. But he would drink, and boy, he would put it away. But we worked with him for a long time, trying to get him to slow down and all that. You know, they have to do that when they're ready.
Yeah.
But my uncle told me that he was in a church meeting. I don't think it was services. It was some kind of a meeting as they held it in the little church there. And they were sitting out there on the pews. And he happened to look back and he saw my daddy walking down the aisle, but he was not there.
Hmm.
And he said, your dad is going to quit drinking. And by golly, he did. And he never touched another drop until the day he died.
Wow.
But that was some of the experiences in my family.
Hmm.
Uh,
Wow, that was pretty powerful.
he he was a fine man, and with his alcoholism, I really never got to know him,
Yeah.
but he was a good man,
Yeah.
much better than me. But That's kind of my background
Hmm.
there, family wise.
So should we talk about something a little bit more cheery? You started doing magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you do like close-up magic and stage magic? I know you did stage magic,
But when I first started, I was just a kid
right?
and I couldn't afford to buy magic tricks.
Right.
But I had a friend that had a few, and he had a square and circle. And oh, I thought that was about the neatest thing.
Square circle, yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't buy one, but I looked at his and looked at his, and I made one out of stuff around the house. I had an old uh, oatmeal box,
Right.
only it was circular,
It's perfect.
and a big giant coffee can that I kind of lollygrabbed around on, kind of made half a square out of it and cut some uh, openings in it where you could see through it.
Hmm.
And that was my first square circle.
Nice.
Uh, then let's see, I learned some sleight of hand with the cone and balls. Back then, that was popular.
Yeah.
Uh, I never was good at it, but I could do it a little bit. And I could do cups and balls a little bit. I didn't know anything about cards, and I met a young fellow that he couldn't participate in sports, and I played football and all of it, but he wasn't no sissy. He was crippled. He had a kind of a hump back. His spine was all disfigured. But I got to tell you, he was one of the best card manipulators you'll ever run across. And he was invited by the IBM there several times to perform at their meetings. And he was just a teenager then. And he was real good with cards and sleight of hand. He and I met Mark Wilson together
Okay.
when Mark was just getting started. As a matter of fact, he was doing fronts and valleys for Frito-Lay Company, Lay's potato chips. And every year at the state fair, they had booths out there in what they call the food building. And they'd set him up in there, and about, I think, every hour on the hour or something like that, he did a little show. And we caught it. And he started manipulating a half a dollar down his, doing that with it, making it go across his hand. Well, my friend, he could do it just as good, and he got a coin out and started doing that, and old Mark just had a fit. And this was after everybody had walked off. And he thought that was something for a kid that young.
Right.
And then Mark, of course, went on to become real famous.
You know, speaking of this kind of experience, Jerry, uh, I mean, it's strange the things that really influence us, you know?
Yes, yes,
And just a simple performance of magic does it for it did it for me. It's doing it for you.
yeah, yeah,
And it's just so strange how we get to where we are, like bizarre magic and scrying and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah. I was always into the bizarre magic. I didn't know what it was, but I liked off the wall routines and stuff like that. And that's why in my illusion shows I had the zigzag lady, the mismade lady, the crystal coffin, uh, uh, chair suspension. Oh, let's see what else.
So you
Well,
had
I
a full
worked with.
stage show, huh?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I had, and I worked doves too.
And doves. Yeah. Uh,
And so I had a pretty nice rounded out little show. It was about 45 minutes long.
so I guess what I want to know now is that when did you cross over? When did you stop doing magic and just go into bizarre magic?
Well,
Or you were always performing side to side, or
no, the last big gig I had was Line Country Safari, which that park is not even there anymore.
mm,
Uh, they went down the tubes, and I was burnt out. I got to tell you, I was doing 7 days, 2 shows a day, and then I worked with Paramount Pictures, and uh, they had me do private shows, and every once in a while they'd want to show a stage show, illusion show on the premises, which they had a pretty nice stage built. And I would have to load all of my crap up between shows now, load it on a truck, run across town over to their location, unload it, do a routine, go back. Now you start doing that kind of crap for as many days a week as I did, and you get burned out.
yeah.
That's all there is to it. You just physically and mentally and emotionally get burned out.
So how old
And
were you when you did your last magic show during this burnout period?
well, let me see. It was 19. Oh, let me think back now.
Just around of general
Oh,
time.
about 1969, I believe it was, right in there.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So
And
5 years ago. So
a
that's
guy offered me an offer I just couldn't turn down for all my stuff, and I sold it.
wow.
And I left Magic altogether. I didn't touch it. I didn't look at it. I didn't want to see it. Uh, for several years after that,
Wow.
I I went to aviation school on my VA after I got out of the military. They paid for it, and I got all of my flight certificates: uh, commercial pilot, instrument rating, multi-engine rating, instructor certificate, link trainer certificate. I had it all, and I started flying for a living. And in 1979, well, I smoked and I drank and all of that kind of thing and kept wrong hours, chased after women and all of that kind of thing. And in 1979, I had a heart attack. Well, that did away with my aviation career. Back then, you had any kind of heart trouble, you were your certificate was gone. It wasn't your flying certificate; it was your medical certificate, and you couldn't legally fly without the medical certificate.
Right. Hmm.
So I knocked around for a while, and it took almost 2 years for me to get over that surgery. You know, they saw your sternum in two,
Yeah, yes, back then.
and they spread your rib cage. And when they do, that swivels your ribs to your back. And oh man, you talk about back trouble. But anyhow, they don't have to do that anymore. I've had several things done to me by a fellow I trust with my life. He saved my life more than once. And he can do it all usually without opening you up.
That's good.
But anyhow, that's what ended my flying career. And
Hmm.
I knocked around, and I'd always loved art, and I was always fascinated with tattooing. And Pam and I got together, and there was a fellow that had a tattoo shop in Arlington, but he wasn't open but 2 nights a week.
Hmm.
And I told Pam I'm gonna start tattooing. She liked to piss her pants. No. So she just an old country girl like me. And but anyway, I ventured off into it and got into it and built a very successful business and opened 2 other shops. And the tattooing paid for my property that I'm on now and my house. So I can't really knock it.
Yeah.
So I uh, I was ready to retire and from tattooing anyway, and that's a grind also.
Mhm.
But I wound up here in East Texas, and I uh, I wanted to be part of the community, and so I joined the volunteer fire department, and they had an ambulance service that was not running. It had lost its license. Their old chief just didn't keep up with all of it. And they asked me to take it over, and I got it all built back and got licenses in EMT and got the ambulance service going again. And to this day, it's going.
Oh man,
And
that's
out here, we
incredible.
need that. We're out in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah, you do.
40 miles from the nearest hospital.
Wow.
And the roads, many of these roads are not marked, and it's tough. But anyway,
Man, I had no idea, Jerry. That's congratulations on that.
well, thank you, thank you. I
Hmm.
was mowing and brush hogging one day on my tractor out here, and it had been a really hot day and dusty, and I was covered with dust. I put the tractor up and went to the house. And normally about that time, man, I was ready to tear into a big supper.
Yeah.
And I told Pat, I said, Pam, I'm so tired that, man, I just don't, I can't eat right now. And she said, well, you go in there and shower off and it does make you feel better. Well, I didn't. So I went to bed, laid down.
Hmm.
About 4 o'clock in the morning, my belly woke me up. Oh man, I've never had any pain like that in my life. And forced me to go to the bathroom. When I did, it was nothing but blood.
Wow.
So they called the ambulance service and they hauled me to the hospital. And by the time I got to the hospital, I was about incoherent. I was really bleeding bad.
Wow.
And they started through me, and it was coming out as fast as they put it in. They told Pam they couldn't get it stopped pretty quick, that they wasn't going to be able to bring me back. They bought this little guy. He was uh, Indian from India, and he was a stomach specialist. And he came in there and he had some kind of a machine, and he went down and they put me to sleep, of course, and he went down into my stomach and found that I had some kind of a terrible bacteria had got a hold in there and grown and had opened up two bleeding ulcers. I lost 6 units of blood, and you only have 8. But he got that stopped and saved my life. But it took a long recovery. And when I got home, I got to thinking, well, I need something to do. And I caught a magician on YouTube. I watch YouTube a lot.
Okay.
And I thought, man, I need to get back into that. So that's how I got started back. I decided to get back into it, and I bought me a small 4-inch sphere and started scrying and having scrying sessions here at the house. And they really like it. They got something out of it. 'Cause, when somebody leaves your home and they hug your neck and kiss you on the cheek, you did something right.
Yes.
And the ladies would always do that. And some of them would cry during those sessions. One lady screamed, I see my brother. I found my brother.
Wow.
And just on and on. But I never told any of them I had any kind of power, which I didn't believe I did. I didn't have any kind of power over them or anything. What they
Hmm.
saw is what they saw. And I picked that up, and when your convention started and you invited me to perform,
Hmm.
I told Pam, I said, that 4-inch sphere is not going to work. So I bought that big old sphere. We swallowed real hard and paid the price. I couldn't believe it. I had it shipped from Canada.
From Canada. Okay.
In fact, it was a Wiccan lady that sold it to me. I get along with witches and Wiccans. My wife's a witch.
Yeah.
I get along with them.
Of course.
I ain't gonna mess with them.
Don't mess with them. No.
No. But that's kind of a short synopsis of
Uh,
where I wound up. And
so can you um you have Native American background in you,
yes, I do.
tribal background.
Yes, I
Um,
do.
So does that play in your abilities, your intuition, and um, sort of the unknown sort of magic-y appeal? Does it all come from, your heritage?
I'm sure it does. I really do. And because I have attended a lot and I've held a lot of sweat lodges out here. I mean, I used to have droves of people come here wanting for sweat lodge. And uh, I was adopted, even though I was Cherokee, I was adopted into Comanche family because we just became very good, dear friends.
Hmm.
And it happened to be Quanah Parker's family. Quanah Parker was the last war chief of the Comanche. He's very well known in history. And I got to tell you, I, I'm not a religious person, but they are peyotes. They're the only people in the United States that can legally grow or possess peyote. That is a part of their life. It's a religion.
Mhm.
And I attended what they call church, held in a huge teepee. You've never seen a teepee that big. And I attended that and several peyote sessions. And you know, it's really not for me, but I experienced it. And there is something to those folks and their old shamans and their elders. I got to tell you, they know things we don't, and they're not going to tell. And it's a real honor when they do share it with you. And they shared some things with me. I've tried to I've tried to pass this on to my sons,
Yeah.
and so I don't bother them with it.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of the things that you learn like that is a personal journey
Yes, it is.
to the individual. So
It
even
is.
sharing the information is you still have to experience it.
Now my eldest son, he likes to smudge every once in a while.
Mm.
That's a family tradition there. We do that all the time.
Yep. So, would you like another question?
Sure, I've just rambled on, haven't
Well, that's what it's all about, really.
I? Okay.
You know what I mean? Because you
People
can't,
wanted to know about me. I'm telling them about me. So
you can't just say, we want to learn from your wisdom and you give a straight answer. You can't do that. You have to have a conversation.
yeah,
It's like that walk in the garden.
yes, it is.
Yeah. Um, so Wiley asked, what is a good technique for gripping the attention of an audience and keeping it? Um, I'm assuming that it's about the scrying, you know.
Yeah.
But if you want to cover performance and magic, you can do that too.
Well, scrying really in itself is a performance because you have to talk with people. You have to reach them with your voice. When you do a magic trick, you're doing something with your hands and they see it, da, da,
Mhm.
da, da, da. When you're scrying, There's no tricks. And that's what catches people. If you can, of course, I always said, you have to prepare the area that you're going to work in.
Hmm.
You have to prepare yourself. You have to prepare your sitters. And I prepared my sitters by bring them in and have a little bar here, and we have a glass of wine, cheese, crackers. You need to go,
Yeah, for just 1 second.
go right ahead.
All right, I'll pause.
Um,
Sorry about that again. Every day.
anyway, on the scrying, it's kind of like storytelling. It's uh, it's your tone and it's the tone that you use to put people at ease. And
I agree. To me, this is the most important question that I could ask you because I've heard you tell stories before, and with a simple three or four words, you captivate everyone. You know, it's just a matter of how you tell it.
well, I think if people, like like Gray Wolf said, do you,
Do
you
you?
know, if you do that, you'll be okay. If you try to do me, it ain't going to work. If you try to do you, it's not going to work. So my suggestion would be for them to study their storytelling skills and their communication skills
Mm.
and study your sitters before and during and after the session. And you can tell whether they're experiencing something or not. And if somebody pipes up and says, "Oh man, I'm just not seeing anything. I can't, I don't know about doing this." Well, I always tell them, I said, "All right, just sit there and shut your eyes, take a deep breath, relax, and forget about this for a moment. Just kind of sit there with your thoughts for a minute and then try again." And usually it works. Some people will never, ever see any anything. It's
Anything.
just the way it is. And seance, there's some people are just never going to enjoy seance.
Hmm.
But be yourself, prepare yourself, your surroundings, and your sitters, and then be yourself and tell a good story. And I, uh, I always try to lead them in to what we're going to do. I take them down a path, take them to the door, and invite them to step through it. Most of the time, they can do it. That's the only thing I can say about it.
I love it. I love that whole procedure. When you did that for our convention the first year, we were just amazed by it, you know? And we was thrilled because we got to see you in a complete costume, a whole getup, this whole outfit.
Yeah.
And the orb, the big giant orb was sat there on the table. It was just something magical about that room.
Well, that orb will do it every time. Not me, it's the orb.
Yeah. You don't know this, but I took the orb the last day of the convention and I put it in a crate, a case that I carried in, a locked case. And I walked it around to everybody that knew you, who was like a vendor and a performer there. And I said, this is the orb of Blankenship. And they got a chance to look at it and touch it and stuff like that. But it is, still a part of our convention. Of course,
That's
it will
wonderful.
always be that.
That's wonderful.
So, do you want?
Thank you.
Thank you. How about another question?
Okay.
Let's see here. Um, okay. So, if you could, let's say, let me ask you this way: what is your favorite story to tell, or if you could tell one story, what would it be? It's a hard one to answer, I'm sure.
Oh Lord. I
We can always come back to that one if you like.
mm, yeah, I'm gonna have to do some thinking on that one.
Okay. Because
I
we can
like
make this
all
in
of
two
them.
parts.
I like all of them. That's the problem.
All right? Yeah. Let me go back here. Oh, okay, here it is. Terry was asking again about oh, okay. Some of these are kind of hard to ask, but I'm gonna ask a simple one. Do you have a favorite movie or music that you listen to?
Uh, I I like smooth jazz
Oh, I hear you there.
and some classical.
Hmm.
I was never really a rock and roll freak. I'd listen to it and all, but I never was really a rock and roll freak.
Okay,
But it has its place, of course.
sure.
As far as the movie is concerned, uh, I think 2001 Space Odyssey is one of my favorites.
Nice.
And I think the reason I like that so much is when I was with Paramount, I got to meet the guys that did the miniatures for that movie.
Okay.
But anyway, I just love that movie. That's all.
Yeah, it's a good film. Good film. I haven't seen it in many years. How about using music in like a presentation?
Well, in my illusion show, I did use tubular bells. Uh, I don't use music in my presentation and scrying.
Okay.
I have music going before
Okay.
we sit down, but not during the scrying session. No, because here's the reason: you don't want to scramble their brain. You They're trying to listen to music, trying to listen to you, and then trying to concentrate and gaze on reflections. So music is just something else that be thrown in there that would take their mind away from what you're doing. And I think it's very distracting to your sitters. I really do. Now, there is a time that if you're going to do seance theater or something like that, uh, you could use music from beyond or coming out of a box or something. But no, I think scrying should be pure, no gimmicks. If you do it right, you study the Roxanne effect, and study it
Mhm.
and practice it, you'll be successful with it.
Okay. Okay. Mm. So here's an interesting question. I'm actually finding this kind of fascinating. When you're doing like a seance or a seance, do you ever channel a familiar spirit?
No, no, I don't.
Okay. So do you keep it more random? Do you ask for spirits or
Yes, yes.
okay,
His spirits welcome all of them,
all of them
all good and kind spirits. Yes.
as it should be. Wow. Okay. Good. That's some of the native tribal spirit coming through there. No, no.
Yeah.
Um, Let me see if I can get another interesting one for you. Somebody's okay. Is there a legacy or something you would like to be remembered as or for?
Oh,
That's a tough
wow.
one. That's another hard one.
Uh, I'd just like to be remembered as an honest old guy, and that's about it. I really,
Yeah,
I,
that's a hard question to.
I never was famous. I never tried to be famous, but
Hmm.
I made a living underground, you might say.
Yeah.
But and I didn't look now. I think a lot of people get the idea when I tell them I'd worked underground that I was a shyster and that I took people's money, but I never took a dime. And in fact, on my scrying sessions here at the house, I never asked anybody for a dime.
Nice.
Now, if they wanted to leave a love offering, that's fine. But we got all kinds of good food and homemade wine and all sorts of stuff given to us. And that's satisfied me. So,
That's absolutely amazing. I can't tell you. That's so amazing to me to hear that. So money or compensation has never really been an influence for you.
well, during my younger days when I did illusion shows, yes.
Sure.
But older days, no. And I know I've lived out here so long in these old woods, and these
Hmm.
bayous, and I know these folks, and I know what their abilities are financially. And some of them more or less live off the land. They don't have any money, but yes, they live good, healthy lives. They live off the land, and I just, if person wanted to come to one of my sessions and I had room left, yeah, come on. We'd be glad to, be happy to have you. And I've held Native American meets out here. they call them powwows, but they wasn't powwow.
Right.
It was a meet, and we had a little intertribal organization, and people around this area out here, uh, they had Native American heritage and wanted to get a taste of it and get, a little practice of it. We'd hold meets out here, and we've had over 300 people out here before
Wow.
and fed every one of them.
Man, I wish I could have been there for that.
And we did that once a year. And I just got to where I couldn't do it anymore.
I get
An
it.
awful lot of work.
Mhm.
But there's something, when you meet like that and you meet and you form a circle. There's something about that circle. That's why I like to sit people in a circle around a table. There's something about that circle that joins you together. The old ones knew that. That's why they went in a circle. And it's a very powerful thing. I know when we'd have a family, Comanche family from Oklahoma come down here once a year. They were a drumming family. And in fact, their drum was in Dances with Wolves. When you see the scenes of the Native Americans dancing around the fire with the drum going, that
Mhm.
was this family drumming. And they drummed for a lot of powwows and stuff too. But when you hear that drum and you have people in a circle, and we always built a fire, so we'd be around a fire. And for the reason the fire was we had folks Cherokee that believed you had to have a fire for the spirits to come in. And they believed that when you built a fire, if the smoke went clockwise, the spirits were there. If it went counterclockwise, they weren't. And you have that fire going, and there's no light except for the fire, drum, singing. It connects people, man. I mean, it sends shivers down my spine,
Mhm.
and it would yours too. I know you're a sensitive person, and scrying is like that. You're in a circle. You're you're connected. You don't have to touch to be energy connected, and you get that energy going, which that sphere will do it every time. It goes around and around that circle,
Mhm.
and it really is all energy. That's the best way I can put it. Is the energy you put out is what holds people's attention.
Yeah, it makes them connected.
Yes, that's why the drum and fire does it every time. They connect.
Hmm.
People will weep sometimes, which is good. A favorite spirit.
Yeah, referring to like beverages.
Oh, okay. Wine
Okay.
and
So what do you
beer.
serve? your guests when they arrive, do they get a choice or an option to drink?
Yes, we offer wine, or if they drink beer, we offer beer.
Okay.
We offer cheese, crackers, stuff. And you know, the ladies, they love to sit around and nibble on cheese and crackers and drink wine. So if you do that, a glass or two of wine, they're ready to go. I call that preparing my sitters.
Nice. Good one, Jerry. So do they drink during the seance?
I ask them not to because
Okay.
it's dark. I'm afraid they'll spill stuff all over the table.
Right. Good thinking. And the crunching of crackers or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's all business when we go to that table.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, isn't it? So I know you're a fan of collecting bizarre magic.
Hmm.
How much of that do you actually use during like a seance performance?
None,
Absolutely none.
none. I used to, but I found you don't really need it. Once you understand the human situation, and I guess you do that with age too, but once you understand the human situation, unless you're going to do seance theater, which I'm all for that, for entertainment, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, but you don't need it. And the traveler would tell you that.
So these things that you buy, you don't use them in a show, but
It's
you definitely
correct.
get to play with them. I mean, it keeps the sort of a bizarre feel, uh, flowing.
Yeah, what I try to do now, I've got I'm a pushover for some things, and I love the old visible block releases. You know, where you put a block on it with a chain on it and put it down in there,
Hmm.
rod through, and it frees it up. You can bring it out. Uh, I've got one of the best ones I think that was ever built, and that was built by uh, Viking Magic.
Okay.
It's gorgeous. Then I have another one that was built by Hocus Pocus a few years ago. And then I have a 3D printed one. So I've got uh, three examples of that effect.
Okay.
And I got a lot of stories and stuff like that collected. And oh, little simple things, you know, I don't have any big stuff anymore.
Yeah, you've
One
had
of
quite the collection.
one of my favorites is the old ribbon through glass, where you have the glass frame
Yes.
and the frame in glass, rather, glass in the frame, and it's got drilled holes down at the bottom, and you pass a needle with a ribbon through those holes back and forth,
Yes.
and sew it in place, and it comes right out. That's one of my favorites, and
That's a good one.
it's so simple to do, and I guess if you had a good saw and craftsmanship, you could make those.
Mhm. Okay, so we should probably wind this up. I'm definitely thinking we're gonna do this again, like part two.
Oh, okay,
You know what I mean? Because I don't want to keep you too long.
okay,
Uh, you know, plus I have some things I have to take care of. But
I'm sure.
um, we'll close this one out um, by saying something that I think it was Wiley Allen that said this, um, but I'm not sure. I got closed out of the app. He wants to know, and you don't have to answer this because it's sort of rhetorical. He says, uh, "Do you know how important you are to us?" That was his question. So I know it's hard to answer that kind of question, but we wanted to make sure that you know how important you are to us.
Well, I certainly realize how y'all feel about me because of the respect that you've given me over the years, and I really appreciate that. That's very touching, and
It's
uh,
true. I mean, ever since you
I'm gonna return that to do all the guys and the gals know how important they are to me.
good.
They are they are extremely important, and I think about them all the time. And just because I'm not at the Zoom meeting, I'm thinking about you. I can tell you that, and I'll be there when I can.
Good. I know you'll return again because we always
So
mention you.
I'll be there. I get this medication adjusted where I don't just fall out. See, my blood pressure has been falling way, that just plummeting. And when it
Mm.
does, I just kind of go down, you know.
I hear you.
And
I feel the same way anytime I sit and watch TV.
yeah, it
Or the
does me
news,
that way too.
you know?
Yeah, it does. It does me that way too.
Yeah.
And
All
I
right.
want you and Susan to know how much you guys mean to me and Pam. Y'all are the apple of our eyes, and I think that you have done more for the bizarre magic community than anyone else. I really do. I feel that way.
I appreciate that, Terry.
And I think there's a lot of other people feel the same way. I just hope that you don't burn yourselves out because I know you're on the run all the time.
All the time.
And so take care of yourselves.
Yeah. We're taking our first vacation next month.
Wonderful.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes. So ironically, we're going to New Orleans.
New Orleans. Well, you'll enjoy that.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Never been
food.
there, so I'm looking forward to it. We shop everywhere for voodoo stuff if we can, or hoodoo stuff if we can, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me stop recording.